Satnam Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to another episode of our ongoing program, HomeKirtan Chat. We are a little delayed in our start today, and I hope you'll forgive that little technical glitch that we had with our sound. We seem to be finished with that and good to go. So I'm so delighted to be able to introduce to you the guests that we have today. And our guests are a band out of Germany, a kirtan band called Mardana. And they are made up of three wonderful musicians, Anna, and we have on vocals and keyboard, and then we have Guru Surya on percussion and other instruments. And I'm going to bring their picture up right now, their image right here. And they will be, I'll be showing you the full band here. There. And also we have Guru Basant on guitar. So I'm going to open up their microphone now and so that they're ready to go. And again, we're so happy. We already have 12 people watching, and so I'm sure more will join us. So we're going to have some wonderful music here from Mardana, and they will play a shabad that they will introduce. And so please take over, anyone who'd like to in the band.
Satnam.
Satnam.
Nice to meet you.
We are so happy to be able to play here. We're going to play Koyane Milave, which is a Shabbat to reunite separate ones. So if a relationship is broken or is in a difficult phase, this is the Shabbat that can be chanted to help overcome this situation. And no.
And now rings the phone.
Yeah.
What shall you do with a setting like this? We switch off the phones.
No, the Shabbat is working because there was a broken relationship which was tried to. No, I'm sorry. I gonna mute my phone. I didn't do it because we were busy with these technical setups. Excuse me. And okay, done. So yeah, that's the quality of this Shabbat. And I remember I put it into music when a friend of mine was being married, or he was married, and then the marriage very shortly after the marriage was already broken, and then I said, okay, let's try to use this technology to fix the situation, and since then I gave it to many people, and now we put it to music altogether, and we are so happy to present it tonight. So enjoy, and if you can, chant along, of course. I don't know if the lyrics are known to you.
Okay.
Satguru Mele Hare Hare Naam Dhiyai Hare राजा दुख विच सुख मनाई मनाई
मेरा कीर्तन प्यारा ओ जिस पे आप दिखाई कोया मिलावे मेरा कीर्तन प्यारा ओ जिस पे आप दिखाई
दर्शन हर देखान के जाई दर्शन हर देखान के जाई
कृपा करेता सतगुरु मिले कृपा करेता सतगुरु मिले हर हर नाम धियाई हर हर नाम धियाई हर हर नाम धियाई तन मन काट सब राही बिच अगनी आप जलाई तन मन काट सब राही बिच अगनी आप जलाई hara dekana ketai darshana hara dekana ketai kirpa kareta satguru mile kirpa kareta satguru mile Hare Hare Naam Dhiyai 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 Hare Hare Naam Dhiyai
Wow.
Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.
Wow. So wonderful.
Thank you.
I don't know if you all can hear me. Is that true? You all three can hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Oh, great. I saw you with your headphones on, Guru Basant, and I wasn't sure whether everyone
So
could
for
hear.
monitoring, I don't have a smaller one.
Yeah, I understand. So I'm going to get myself to the side here so people can see more of you. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so wow, it just was a great sound. And I know we had a little difficulty, but it was great. It sounded beautiful. Each of you are musicians for life. You know, you all had experience as children playing music and in other bands through your earlier time in life. And now here you are together in this wonderful group, Mardana. And, you know, it's immediately clear that one of the profound qualities that you have as a group is that all three of you are very good vocalists. And so the blending of your voices together, I think, is perhaps the most powerful impact that you make. Is that what drew you three together?
Is that what drew the three of us together?
The vocals, is that what brought you together?
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's definitely special.
Vocals play an important role in what we do. And in fact, we work a lot on the vocals. Some songs have more sophisticated instrumentation. This one is more, basic instrumentation, I would say. But the melody has something, and of course, we are really working on the vocals. And because there's a whole thing in it. And the first instrument of a human being is the voice, after all. Anyway, you don't need anything. You don't need an instrument. You can just sing and use what you have. That's a real powerful instrument, probably the most powerful of all, I guess, is the singing. So, of course, that plays an important role, yeah.
And then the relationship between the experience when we chant mantra as opposed to coming together and singing, how do you see the bridge between those? The experience, what's the bridge between singing and then chanting?
Good question.
The bridge, well,
The point of contact, the connection.
I just wanted to say I'm a Satnam Rasayan teacher, so it's just to be in relationship, no? That's the key point from my point of experience. But that applies for any music, I think. So, and actually this online thing is a little bit more difficult to be in relation to the group. But I think we might get practice in this also, but that's the most important, to be in relationship and to have that group consciousness.
Well, it's coming through just fine today, so no problem. Anna,
sorry, but for me, like if I was to say what's the difference, I mean, singing in a choir, like any nice, beautiful song, is already an incredible experience if you have a bunch of great singers. But the mantra even goes a step beyond that. It's like really invoking a very basic, fundamental sound, and you basically only work with that. It's only this fundamental, incredible, powerful energy that you work with when you chant mantras. So, and then chanting mantras together with other people, ideally with a bigger group, it's really, I don't know, I think there's nothing beyond that. I think this is really a big thing that makes it possible. And I think when you sing in a choir and you sing Hallelujah, probably, I guess when you have the gospel singers, I think it's probably very, very similar. So it doesn't matter really which mantra you do. Actually, we were once in Hamburg with Yogi Bhajan, who was teaching a German song, just a funny German song, which every German knows. It's a very simple song, very, but German. And he made 300 people sing that song from their heart. It was very mantric. And it was the same experience, but of course it was a group consciousness energy, and the group consciously sang with the purpose of becoming one. And I think if you have that mantra, that sound that allows that, then it's easier to reach that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great,
nice,
great.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah. So Anna, I want to be sure I'm addressing you. Would you prefer Anna Japa Bhakti or just Anna? How would you like?
No, Anna Japa Bhakti is fine. Also
Great.
Japa. Many people, they just call me Japa or Anna Japa. Yeah.
All right.
Fine.
Well, that sounds great. You're the more recent addition to the band, and you replaced Satkaram. And I just wonder, how has your presence in the band maybe shifted some things or made it the same? What do you see as that experience coming into the band?
For me, it was actually a great honor, because I remember when we were at the yoga festival and then we got together talking, and they asked me, hey, do you want to play sadhana with us? And then we were sitting there and practicing and just getting to know each other. And of course, I loved it very much. And now we're here, like all together. And I think we getting this deeper connection, the more and more we make music together. And that's very precious, very nice. And I think we have a good connection to each other, musically and also personally. So I think the heart is very important, that you do it with your heart, and your heart is always involved in what you're doing. And I think, this is also what is connecting us, and it feels really good. So I hope, I feel it's good, like the way the three of us are working together, and it's a nice energy.
Yeah, and she's a
it
lucky
is.
catch because she happens to sing nice. She happens to play the
lucky
harmonium,
catch.
exactly the instrument that we were missing. So it's very, very good. It's a wink of the Guru. Plus, she's kind of from the area, so it's not too far away. There are not so many people all over Germany really following this path. I mean, following this path, probably there's a lot, but not so many musicians who really want to make music and work with this music. So we are very fortunate to be three again, and that was a missing dimension,
I'm actually
female
somewhat
dimension also.
I'm envious of being able to find musicians you can play with that are close, live nearby, because it is an issue, and especially today as we're not able to travel much. So it's good to have people close at hand that you can more easily rehearse with. And so you're so blessed, the three of you, to have that and to be able to share your voices together. I personally, I love making music on my own and with other musicians, but when there is that dialogue of the vocals, really blending, that's just such an amazing thing that you guys have. So you really are blessed. Do all of you compose? Do you bring ideas to the band, or is there just one person, or how does that happen?
Well, I just wanted to address this situation because I also wanted to say that it's a very courageous. It's also courageous, or it's maybe a little bit difficult for Jabba also to come into our formation, because we are, Govasanda and me, his wife, she always says to us, you're like a couple, like a married couple, because we make music together so long, and it's kind of difficult to come in, and we have all this material, like we opened our drawers and I have this song and this Shabbat, and so right now we just put into music and rehearse old stuff, which we never had time to do, which is, for example, this Koyan Milave and other Shabbats also.
Although this is a pretty new composition, so it was the first time the second time we played this one live.
That's right, but it's sitting in the drawer for whatever, 10 years or so. So, but we all compose. You also compose, and we encourage her to, also bring up her stuff, but that probably will take a little time.
Yeah,
until
we do this next year.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we all.
But actually, everyone's equal, so everyone's supposed to bring in some stuff, and we really take what somebody brings in as a gift and say, oh, this sounds interesting, let's work on this. And of course, eventually, sometimes you have to decide which one you take, which one you like better, which one you may wait with, but. So it's interesting also in the history, the albums that we made, the very first one, the real one, basically, besides the sadhana, was a lot of my stuff. The second one was actually a lot of Satkaramkar stuff, which were practically all of it almost.
Yeah.
And now it's basically Guru Surya coming in with his beautiful things. But there's a lot of space for Anajaba Bhakti, because
next album
hopefully we will keep going. And that's supposed to be, everyone's supposed to bring in his ideas, so we get hopefully a nice amalgamation of different things, So it's not too one-sided.
No.
As I listened to you, it was hard to distinguish the two male voices, one from the other.
Yeah.
And sometimes one was higher, one was lower. How do you decide between the three of you who's going to sing who's going to be singing the lead on a particular piece, or who's going to take the high harmony, who's going to stay with the melody, that kind of thing?
I think it's very naturally. It's always very naturally that we sing and we hear and then we feel, and then somebody comes up with the voice or with another line, and then we feel it, and then we say, oh, this was good. Can we do it again? Okay. And then, everybody, I think, finds his own place, and somehow it's like, we're melting into each other. That's really beautiful. It happens naturally, I think.
Actually, for this, just the Shabbat Koyan Milave, I mean, it was composed by Guru Surya, who first sang it, all over, and we were playing it a few times in Gurdwara in a more simple form, where he was basically singing the lead voices, because he had simply done it a long time ago. He knew it by heart, and I had to first get into it and learn the melody and do all that. But now we are at the point, having worked at this, where actually he's still in the lead sometimes, and then we shift the lead, and then the lead is shifting, and we experience it, especially with this Shabbat. It was a very interesting way of not having one lead voice that is always the same, which is also great, which is nice in music. But this is actually one of the first pieces where we really do a lot of shifts. And that was a nice challenge also, because it's not so simple to do that. Much more simple if you keep the same voice all the time, and maybe you have a harmony which is the same all the time. And here we shift. So it was a great experience. And I think we will do this a little more often, also with the coming pieces.
Guru Prasad, you described that Shabad as a simple arrangement. I would contest that and say that it was a multi-dimensional arrangement that was quite beautiful. So,
Well, actually, now this arrangement is a little more complex. But I said when we first played it, Guru Sura and myself, just in Gurdwaras, when there were Gurdwaras, we did a more simple version of this. Now we made it a little more sophisticated. As you heard, there was even a harmonium solo in there, which we liked very much, and it's great that it came so well. It really came out cool. Yeah.
Perfect, yeah. Something comes always different.
so go ahead, Guru Surya.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that initially the melody of the Adi, we changed the melody because I was not satisfied with the first version, and it was a little bit boring. It was kind of repetitive, and or more repetitive than it's now. And then we sat together, it was Govardhan and me, and then we said, something has to happen. Then we developed this in this form as it's now. And this I actually like the most, because you asked for who's composing. Actually, it's a start. I like it the best if it's like that. You bring a starting material, and then you work on it and develop it, and then it becomes the piece of all of us, and we make it our own, and we develop it, and we have ideas, and that's a great beauty if because we are lucky that we kind of like the ideas of the others.
That's
We're
great.
like, oh my God, that's great. I've never had that idea. Or I would have never had that idea. And then you can expand in this, in the band, and that's really a great blessing for me. I like that the most.
Yeah, there was, especially in this piece, there was this moment when we were on this passage, Kirpa, this Kirpa Kareta Satguru Mele, and he was singing this voice, and she came up with that incredible harmony. Can you do it? What you sing, the harmony that you sing. That's what happens. And then I was sitting there like, please record. We have a smartphone with us, so we record it, and so we hopefully don't forget it until the next time we meet. So that's how it gets developed, and it's just great. That's an incredible, beautiful process. Yeah.
And how are you attracted to a particular mantra or shabad? Is it the meaning behind it, or is it just somehow it captures a melody that goes well with it, or how do you decide?
Decide what? Which one?
Whether you want to pursue, like if, for instance, I can imagine you might encounter a shabad, the meaning, being sung by someone else, a recording by someone else or something, and you like it, you get affected by it, you understand something about the meaning, and then you get inspired to find some tune that works with it. Or perhaps there is just a tune in your head and a mantra or a shabad arrives that kind of fits to that.
Well, I don't know.
Well, actually, I think it's a little bit of everything. No, I mean, I can only speak for myself. I compose things where I chose a shabad for its meaning, for its energy. I referred a lot to the book from BBG Inderjit Kaur, where the Psyche of the Golden Shield. Now it's called the Mantra book, which has all the shabads, which has a lot of shabads in there, and the purpose or the effect, the energetic or meaning effect of that mantra or the shabad. And several times I found myself in a situation where I said, okay, this is what I need now. Let's pick this shabad, and then I went through the head and I chanted it, or just read it monotone, and suddenly some kind of melody came in. And that's how out of the Shabbat a melody arose, and then there was a whole composition following to that. Not every time, but sometimes, and the same happened also with mantras. And I think this is pretty much the same for all of us. We choose, this was chosen because a dear friend, I was at his wedding. It was an incredible wedding over 3 days, and then 6 weeks later they split up. It's like a terrible story. He's now luckily remarried, as far as I hear. It's good, but and then he was so touched that he said, okay, we need to now find something to fix that and to heal it, and this is the Shabbat for it. And and the melody that he came up with is just capturing that energy also beautifully. Yeah.
That's great. So I want to take a pause in our discussion just to let everyone know who's listening that Mardana will be sharing some more music with us in just a few minutes. I also want to let people know about this mysterious location that you're sitting in. I have visited there, and this is Guru Basant's home, his sound studio in the attic of his home. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that beautiful place?
Oh, yeah. Actually, we live in an area outside of Frankfurt, like about 45 kilometers south of Frankfurt, a nice, beautiful countryside. And like Guru Soya is not far from here. Anajapa Bhakti actually lives near Frankfurt, north of, but also in a nice area. And this is an old house, as you can see, with wooden beams. It's about 250 years old, and the attic was a raw thing when we got into the house here, so we had it built out, and of course we started teaching yoga here. We had a group of yogis here. This is what we have, like 45 square meters. I think we were here with 55 people once doing yoga and sadhana in the morning. So eventually we put the music stuff up here, and then we started composing, and from the composing started recording, so we put technical things here, and it's still an area where you can do nicely yoga with a few people. And of course, with this whole Corona situation and the streaming and going online and doing online concerts, this was the perfect place to do it. As it's not used for anything else, I have the privilege, let's say, to have that space available, and we don't need it for anybody else. It's also a guest room in the back. Yeah. There's a nice sofa. We had tantric facilitators staying here with us. There's a separate bathroom, so it's a nice place. And it's a blessing to have a place like that, because you are not disturbed when you work creatively or you want to meditate or something like that.
And it's so nice to have a place where you can put out your recording equipment, your instruments, and not have to pack them up after every session.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We can leave everything like this, and nobody complains.
Yeah.
Not even your wife.
No, only when she wants to teach. But then then we clean up before. But we only have to rearrange a few things.
That's great.
She's been doing a couple of online courses. Her name is Aftakar from France originally, and we live here together. But she's doing a lot of online classes also here. And just this Monday, we were doing a session for the French yoga Sangat, and then followed by a winter solstice sadhana, which was a great privilege that we could participate. So it's a fantastic place. That's why we were a little bit disturbed when we started that the sound didn't work, because we have everything set up. We just thought we press the button and let's go. Okay, took half an hour, but here we are. Thank you for the patience.
Yeah, no problem. And you guys have been busy. It's amazing, wonderful to see you reaching out and connecting to people around the globe. So that's wonderful. I want to shift gears a little bit and ask you about your influences, mainly from mainstream music, pop, jazz, rock and roll, folk, classical, whatever. And my imagination is that each of the three of you would, if I said pick two musicians or composers that have influenced you the most, each of you are going to have two different composers, musicians on your list. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
You start.
So who's been?
I just wanna make a short note on you, Pritpal Singh, because we talked about you.
We just talked about it.
Chapa was asking who is Pritpal? Who is? She didn't know you, obviously. Then I told her, my wife Sahesh Kaur, she found a cassette in Mexico in 1991 or so, on the street.
On the street.
On the street,
On the street.
and it was Prayers from the Golden Temple.
Oh
That
my
was
goodness.
your music. And
And this cassette was played in, then I came to know 95 or 96. And even this was our first yoga music, along with Gyanchi. And so this is definitely a great influence.
yeah.
Wow.
Amazing, no?
I must add the same, actually. The first 2 cassettes that I had, I mean, we had 4 cassettes in the ashram at that time. 2 were rotten, and there were 2 left over, so I was allowed to make a copy. The 2 cassettes was Basant Kivar and Prayer for the Golden Temple, which are from Pritpal Singh. So
Wow.
you were actually the first, and it was running day and night, all day.
Yeah.
I had to,
Until
Well,
it was
I-
like,
we even played one of the first Shabbats I learned was Harikanam, that is on the Prayer for the Golden Temple. We played, adapted it in a simple form for guitar. We played in Gurdwara in our little ashram here near Frankfurt. So, that was certainly.
Well, that's very wonderful. That isn't what I was fishing for, though. I wasn't fishing for a compliment. Just interested to know, aside from me, who else has been an influence.
For me, for example, it's all the musician and tapes, of course, that my teacher played during teacher training at Singh. He had many musicians, even from the Golden Temple. I don't know all their names, but this is, it really touched me deep inside, and I felt somehow that maybe a part of me was already had been there some time, maybe in some other dimension, whatever. So I felt really connected. And of course, I remember first time hearing Snatam Kaur singing and playing, and just hearing her voice and not even knowing. I remember I didn't know how she looked like or where she were from, and my sister said, look at her, look at her. Did you imagine her like that? Look at her, and how she's singing and how she's feeling it from her heart. And that I think she has a lot of music that was really inspiring for me. So, and and of course these really powerful musicians playing, and even musicians that we don't even know, that are just playing from the heart.
Gurbasant, you have some.
Yeah, and for me it was actually,
influences?
I have to shift back a little bit. Of course, you start with rock when you are a kid. I grew up with the Sex Pistols and things like that. So, but I was when I was a teenager, I was very much into this, let's say, complex rock, I would call it. The rock with a melody, with cool thing, with cool guitarists, doing cool stuff, like really good instrumentation, very well played things. There was
Progressive rock.
Yeah, that was right. Progressive rock. There was bands like Saga at that time from Canada that I was very much into, and actually the guitarist once gave me his plectrum. I was right in front of the stage, and then he saw that I was obviously a big fan, so he gave me his plectrum. That was a big honor for me. I think I was 16. No, and then later on it shifted a lot to some American bands. And when you're a guitarist, you come across. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, for example, the 4 musicians, or Neil Young. You can't go around them when you want to learn guitar. You happen to play their songs, so that's pretty influential.
James Taylor.
James Taylor, absolutely, indeed. And then actually on my first trip to Scotland, which was a heartfelt desire that I always had in my life, I finally made it when I was 27, I think. I happened to bump into music by a composer, singer, songwriter, composer called Dougie MacLean. He's Scottish, and he's still one of my favorite musicians because he just makes wonderful ballads. In fact, he made a ballad that they seriously considered to become the new Scottish anthem. It's a simple ballad, beautiful, called Caledonia, and I can play that song also, but a little bit adapted and simplified, because he plays a lot of open tuning, a lot of complex stuff. And in the yoga, of course, the 2 main musicians that influenced me and also supported me a lot was Guru Das Singh,
Right.
that I first met at the yoga festival in Losh way back in the 80s. And he and Guru Daska was playing sadhana. There was no sound system. The stage was a couple of pallets, and they both had Martin guitars, which I was very impressed by because they were very expensive at that time. Wonderful sound, And I loved his melodies, and I said, wow, he makes so great, wonderful melodies. Like, how does he do these melodies? How can he do that? How can I do that? I think, so I was very inspired. And then I was also becoming pretty close to Madana. I think we became pretty close friends, who's now back in the US, but he used to live in Amsterdam. So we used to meet a lot, we played a lot, and he showed me a lot of his stuff. We joined a lot in music, and that was very, very, very enriching for me. So that was really very, very, very influential also on the yogic music path.
Before going over to Guru Surya, I just want to ask Guru Basant, how many guitars do you travel with when you're touring?
Oh, actually, usually just one. I just have this one, which is still my, this is like my first guitar that I bought when I was 17. It's a Dion it was actually made in Japan at that time. They're now rare and very, it's a collector's item. I still play it. I have two other ones, like normal Western guitars. Plus I also have a 12 string. And I still have my electric guitar that I like to play every once in a while. And you can hear it on some of our recordings in the background. There's still an electric guitar, which I
thought
like
so.
a lot. But I usually travel with only one due to space.
I knew there was an electric guitar somewhere in the background there.
Yeah.
That's great.
Here and there. Yeah.
Guru Surya, do you want to add anything about influences?
There's a big Marshall Tower standing in the
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is.
Well, my influence, I think generally those musicians who disappear are the ones that influence me the most and touch me the most. So it doesn't really matter in which genre of music, who disappear in the sense that they dissolve and the music remains. This is something that is always a key. If music is touch me. Main influence, I also grew up with the same stuff that, like Guru Basant, Led Zeppelin, and a little bit more harder stuff, I think, Iron Maiden and stuff like that. Right now, I love to hear Ibrahim Malouf or Salif Keita, or Ibrahim Malouf is a trumpet player from Jordania. And Salif Keita is from Mali, it's a famous singer. And I like this kind of music right now. And it influences me most, especially the Oriental music because they use melody in such a beautiful way. They a lot of the songs, or Idan Reichel is a musician from Israel. A lot of the songs they don't have a how do you say, a chorus. They don't have a chorus, but they have a melody. They play a melody, and that's the chorus. And then they go into the song and into the verse, and then they return to the chorus, and it's only a melody played by whatever horns or something like that, and or strings. And I like that. And they are very patient. Ibrahim Malouf, he made a CD from Kulthum. It's a very famous singer from Egypt. And he said, just before it took 50 minutes until she came to the stage. And before that was only introduction. And people are so patient. It's like in Indian classical also. They're so patient. They listen and they allow to develop the whole. And then, everything builds up. And then the singer comes onto the stage and then she sings beautiful. And it's a very different approach to music. And I find that very inspiring.
That makes me think of the story of Ravi Shankar when he first came to the U.S. in his first concert, and he spent the first 10 minutes playing, and then people applauded, and he said, "Wait a minute, that's just me tuning. Wait for the composition to start." So yeah,
That's a good story.
people can be patient.
Yeah.
So, last couple of questions before we ask you to play some more music. Is there an instrument in the band that drives the composition? say sometimes the harmonium or the guitar? Is it all coming out of your vocal blending of your voices, or what drives your compositions?
Good question. Actually, it's. I mean, from my point, from myself, it's both. Sometimes it just comes from the vocals. It's just like through the mantra or the Shabad forms a melody somehow in my head, and then I sing it, and then I just adapt the guitar to it. Basically, the guitar follows the melody that somehow has developed through singing. And sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes I have a cool guitar tune that I find, oh, this is a cool riff, or this is a cool combination of things, and there could be this and that melody. And then I'm looking, okay, which Shabad, which mantra would fit to that melody? But that's usually a little harder, because when you already have some kind of melody and try to fit something in,
it's more intellectual, isn't it?
Yeah. And a few times it's also really a mix of both, where actually there's a chord, then comes a part of the melody, then comes the next chord, comes the next part of the melody, and the construct at the end, you feel like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
But I would say that's more rare, and that's probably the better. Those are the better recordings, or the better compositions. But you know, I can only speak from one thing that I experienced once, where I was meditating on the Pori Akanjor from Japji for 40 days, 11 repetitions every day. And you know, I was reciting that either in meditative state, but I was working at the time, so I had to go out to the town, do some things for my boss. So you know, I was either in the car or walking. So I said, okay, let's do the 11 repetitions now. I have 10 minutes to walk, or 10 minutes to get to the place, or maybe 20 minutes. So let's recite that now. So I was like loudly reciting, walking on the street or sitting in the car, and slowly a melody came. And the melody came, and it became more precise, and it became even more precise. And that took almost all of the 40 days. And then after the 40 days, I said, okay, let's sit with the guitar and let's see what would fit. And then came that Akanjor that I still like a lot today. We play it sometimes live. It's long ago, of course, but and I said, this is a nice process. And as adding to what Guru Swaya said, if you give it time, if you allow it to unfold and to develop, I felt that it's the mantra itself giving me that melody from itself, from within itself. It just guided me, and all I had to do is to follow. So that was a nice process.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I would love it if you guys would play some more music for us, and then we'll wrap it up after that. So, What are you going to play?
Explain the mantra or the mudra?
Yeah. Oh, the mantra is Harinam Satanam Harinam Hari, Harinam Satanam Satanam Hari. And if anyone wants to add a mudra to it, you can. There are several. So this one we suggest. You make a triangle with your thumbs and index fingers, and then you turn the hands until the knuckles of the middle fingers meet, and then you hold it in front of your heart and sing along. And yeah, with as much joy as you can.
Can you say the mantra?
Harinam Satanam Harinam Hari, Harinam Satanam Satanam Hari. That's the mantra.
Okay.
Stick with this one. Okay.
Du fängst an.
Harinam Satanam Harinam Hari Harinam Satanam Satanam Hari Harinam Satanam Harinam
Harinam Satanam Harinam Hari Harinam Satanam Satanam Hari 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 Harinam Satanam Satanam Hari Harinam Satanam Satanam Hari.
Wow, thank you guys so much. That was really beautiful. And for those of you listening, please check out the recordings of Mardana, which are a sadhana celebration from 2008. I Have Found in Me from 2012. And then Love is in Silence from 2019. And they're working on a new project that hopefully they will have released in 2021. We can look forward to that. And that's the plan, yeah. And also check out their website, which, Gurbasant, what is the website?
Mardana.de. Very simple.
Okay.
Mardana.de. But it's also in English.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, well,
And
listen,
there's stuff on Spotify and so forth, on iTunes and
all the usual
whatnot.
places, you'll
The
find
regular
them.
places.
Yeah. And so I want to thank Mardana, each of you, for your time today and your generosity with sharing about your music and playing the music. So thank you so much. We were very moved by what you had to share. And so thank you. And everybody else out there listening, please do like this program and share it. And as the words at the bottom of the screen are saying, we will take a little break on our programs and see you back on Wednesday, January, I think it's the 13th. And we will be continuing all our usual Wednesday programs from there on. So we will see you there. Please be safe, stay well, and may you be blessed. Satnam, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Sikh Dharma International. Thank you a lot to Pritpal Singh and his team. Thanks a lot for the occasion and the blessing.